on Sri Ram. I mentioned in the talk that I did 10 days ago that a dream or a vision that I had, and where I saw a face, some nostrils, and three bodies above the face and the nostrils. So I'm going to go through this actual webinar that I did in 2014 for the Emerging Sciences Foundation. So that's an organization in America, and I was thinking about the what I'll present in this webinar, and I had this dream and this vision, and I actually drew this diagram, which you'll see in a minute, and I spoke about in the talk on the astral body. So you'll note there above the nostrils, they're connected to another body, and up here. So I'll go through the whole document. So that was related to, as I said, a webinar, the first webinar I'd ever been involved with. So that was in October 2014 for the ESF, Emerging Sciences Foundation. And I might state that that webinar, the very first one, it really helped kickstart ESF, which was really, really great. I love to do it. And since then, they've gone on to do hundreds of webinars with great guest speakers from all over the place. But anyway, mine was the first, so I was glad to be involved with that. And Mike Molina and his organisation, and Linda, his wife. And so what I'm going to do, I'm going to go through the actual document this morning. What happened this morning, I was thinking about this diagram and where could it be? I saw it about 6 months ago. I'm wondering where could it be? And I actually saw in my dream this blue folder, and it was inside my filing cabinet in my office, just behind where I'm sitting right now. So I actually saw where it was in the filing cabinet. So that was I was very happy to know where it was. Someone sent me a message. I don't know how it works, but this is like I said, unconscious mind. Mine's pretty active. This is how it works. So it helps you. Kundalini helps you, right? Put things together, especially when we're dealing with evolution of consciousness, evolution of awareness, ascension, things like that. So what I'm going to do in this talk, I'm going to actually go through the webinar that I did for ESF 10 years ago, and because I've got that was a 1-hour webinar, because I've also got parts in my notes, which I've just got here, that I omitted from that talk because of the lack of time. So I didn't want to go over time. I had to fit it within 1 hour, and I covered a lot of ground, but there were still areas that I couldn't cover. So I'm going to cover it today and add a little bits and pieces, and miss little bits and pieces as well, because people can go and watch that webinar. But I wanted to add a few things. So I'm going to bring up my notes from that webinar. So I think it was about 10 slides, and these are my notes that went with the slides that Mike has got up on that, which was a great webinar. Go and watch it. But there's some more information. I'm just going to skip through some of these things here. That's just the preparation because we took about two months to sort of go through what I'm going to talk about. So that was the theme, balancing the brain. So obviously, balancing the brain and achieving a healthy Kundalini awakening. So we don't want to have an unhealthy awakening. So that can happen too. So very important what I was talking about. So I made some announcements about the collaboration I was doing with Centre of Biofield Sciences, Dr. Thornton Streeter, uh, who was at the World Peace Centre at Pune in Maharashtra. That's his website, biofieldsscience.org. Check it out. CEO, founder, Dr. Thornton Streeter. So Cutting Edge Research Institute. Okay. So I've got in here all sorts. I'm pretty much sure a lot of this stuff's in here, so I'm not going to go through everything. Uh, the philosophy and concept of Kundalini is as old as mankind itself. It is believed when the ancient sages started to have direct perception of their inner spiritual processes and enlightenment, they wasted no time in exploring this vast science of the soul. So these are my notes that I wrote down before the webinar. Kundalini is a very ancient cross-cultural phenomena, and the knowledge of it almost disappeared as civilizations came and then went into decline. However, this sublime philosophy and science of Kundalini was preserved by Indian, Nepalese, and Tibetan spiritual traditions and yogis. Today, it is necessary for society and mainstream science to understand the spiritual science of Kundalini Yoga. So I'm not going to go through all this stuff here. If anyone wants this, I can email it to. They can just email me, monamurti@gmail.com. I can send it to them. Notes that I'm going to show here. So this is interesting. Please look deeply into the symbolism of this diagram as it represents many great mysteries, both macrocosmic and microcosmic, that science are trying to understand. Okay, so I'm going through here. On a microcosmic level, it represents the mysterious path of the awakening of Kundalini Shakti, a partly biological phenomena in every human being. So my spiritual teacher and guru, Swami Satchidananda Saraswati, founder of the famous Bihar School of Yoga, once said to a group of Australian scientists and people that were at his satsang in 1984 in actually Wollongong, where I went to uni and I lived in Wollongong as well, but I didn't attend that satsang. I came on the scene a little bit later, a couple of months later. Yoga is a science and you are the scientist. So that's the theme that I've carried forward since then. And Swamiji was a real spiritual scientist and he did a lot of research with scientists as well. So what he's Swamiji talks in that satsang, I couldn't find it actually on YouTube, that satsang, but it was up there for a while, but it's disappeared. Ordinarily, knowledge takes place by a combination of 1, the senses, 2, the object, and 3, the mind. Ask yourself, can knowledge take place without the senses and the object? Psychic mind or the yogic mind says yes. Experience and knowledge can take place by your awareness going deep into the deeper layers, plural, layers of the mind. The scope of your knowledge can then be increased. And as you go on progressing in yoga and meditation, you can go beyond relative knowledge to absolute knowledge, consciousness. How? By separating your mind from the objective experiences, the mind can experience absolute consciousness, which is also beyond the contents of the mind. Science has not yet answered the big questions about the soul or God. Why? Yet they continue to look outside at other planets as they have done for centuries and spent trillions of dollars on this and still have not yet provided the answers to satisfy the most basic need of a human being. The reason for being born, my relationship to God. What is it? What is prayer? What is compassion? What is reincarnation? Still nobody has scientifically told you the definitive answers. Yoga says to answer these big questions, you have to become the subject of your scientific experiment. You have to become the scientist, and you have to become the laboratory, and you have to become the object of your inquiry. Then you will get your own answers from an absolute knowledge. Okay, so this is from the Satsang 84, Swami Satchidananda. I added little bits and pieces to it. So in that previous talk I just did on Swara Yoga, I brought up the conceptual diagrams about the rising of the Kundalini through Sushumna and Nirvritti Marg and Muladhara Chakra, etc. So, and the event horizon, okay? So that diagram relates to what I'm going to talk about now. Explain the very important 8 stages of Rishi Patanjali's Ashtanga Yoga, not to be confused with any business name, which was out there for a while, which he has codified into the Yoga Sutras, namely Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, which I talked about before, the event horizon in the talk before, Dharana, Dhyana, and Samadhi. When through pranayama and the previous exoteric limbs of yoga, pratyahara is achieved, esoteric yoga begins, as outlined in my diagram above. Time and space is relative and transcended as dhyana fuses into samadhi and the absolute. The evolutionary phenomena of Kundalini and the goal sought is the real essence of the word yoga, the spiritual science, union of the individual soul with the cosmic soul. Okay, so now I'm talking with these bits here about the correlations with the brain hemisphere activity and the alternating breath flow. So I spoke about that in the last live stream. Check that out, the one on Swara Yoga. This is good. Maybe I didn't talk about this. When dhyana and deep meditation occurs, the central nervous system, the brain and the spinal cord, is in a state of heightened activation, not inertia or dullness. Like people think meditation is just relaxed, just inert, dull your mind. No. At the highest level, your brain's fully awake and highly active. Only when perfect balance is obtained between the pranic flows can the spiritual evolution journey awaken. This is related to the breath. Balancing of the brain. You got to know about Ida and Pingala and Sushumna. Okay, so this might have been in that talk a couple of weeks ago. Ida is the name of the nadi. Nadi means flow of consciousness, which correlates to the left nostril. If you try to meditate when the breath is flowing in the left nostril, the right hemisphere is active. Your mind will be unable to focus and concentrate on one object, because you need that one object to go into dhyana, as it will be introverted and distracted by subconscious thoughts. Pingala is the name of the nadi which correlates to the right nostril. If you try to meditate when the breath is flowing in the right nostril, the left hemisphere is active. Your mind will be focused and distracted by thoughts about your body, discomfort, and extroversion. To have a healthy body and mind, you need to have a balance between these two great forces in the human body. And this is the philosophy behind Hatha Yoga, which I'm going to talk about next week, classical Hatha Yoga. And all the yogas dealing with prana. So that's what I'm talking about for the next 6 months, such as Kriya Yoga, Laya Yoga, Kundalini Yoga, and Swara Yoga, which I just spoke about. Sushumna Nadi is said to be operating when the breath flow is equal in both nostrils. If you try to concentrate and meditate when Sushumna is flowing, meditation in one pointed concentration easily happens spontaneously. You don't have to put in the effort of concentrating. So when it happens properly and pratyahara is achieved, it's spontaneous. To facilitate a balanced breath flow, which does occur as a natural biorhythmical cycle every 90 minutes, approximately, according to Swara Yoga, we have to discipline the breath flows by the practice of alternate nostril breathing, called in yogic terminology Nadi Shodhan Pranayama. Nadi, flow of consciousness; Shodhan, purification; Pranayama, extension of the prana. Either Pingala. Okay. So awakening, so I'll just read this bit about Sushumna. Sushumna can be thought of as cerebrospinal, CNS, central nervous system, light, androgynous, Teo, the unconscious mind, and Kundalini, like Ardhanishwar, half male, female form of Shiva, which was on the KRP banner and homepage when the website was up. According to tradition, the 72,000 nadis, meridians in the Chinese TCM system that permeate the multi-dimensional bodies. They are flooded with a new spiritual light through a yogic process of purification and during awakening of Sushumna. So Sushumna is completely different than Ida and Pingala, and also the preliminary stages of awakening in the chakras. So awakening, the three most important subtle nadis, the flows of consciousness, are brought into operation. So these are the 4 stages of awakening. First form of stage of awakening is brought about through the disciplining and awakening of Ida and Pingala nadis. So the disciplining of Ida and Pingala nadis is through Nadi Shodhan Pranayama, balancing that breath. Second stage of awakening is a mild awakening in one or more of the chakras. So one or more of the chakras eventually wakes up as a part of your spiritual evolution in this incarnation. Eventually, one chakra will awaken. And that's your wake-up call. Right, third stage of awakening is the Sushumna Nadi. The Shakti is withdrawn from Ida and Pingala nadis, and a new, higher spiritual force emanates forth up the Sushumna Nadi. So Ida and Pingala, the energy is withdrawn. The Shakti energy is withdrawn from Ida and Pingala and enters Sushumna. I'll explain that in a little while. Fourth stage is the awakening of Kundalini Shakti. When Sushumna is clear, a new spiritual force is generated. This is the energy of the cosmos, unlimited energy of the cosmos, which is known as Kundalini Shakti. As it rises through the central canal of the spinal cord towards the brain, the mystical chakras fully open, right? So they might have been opened a little bit when you had stage 2 awakening, one of the chakras. So when Sushumna opens, It's the whole chakra. Mystical chakras fully open. Right. A lifelong yogic lifestyle is the key to the above. Another hint here is look at the emerging science of epigenetics, which I believe is based on the sound principles of yogic lifestyle. So the big thing is yogic lifestyle. So when you're getting into deeper sadhana, you've really got to keep to the rules and try to keep yourself as much as possible into the yogic lifestyle. It's difficult, but you can do it. And very important. DNA can, so we're talking about epigenetics, DNA can be restructured, improved by yoga. Science already knows this, so I'm adding to that clean. The DNA can be cleaned through yoga. Okay, this is alternate nostril breathing, hands-on, so I did a little demonstration there. I won't get into that. Okay, introduce here. When I was thinking deeply about what to present in this webinar, I spoke about this in the astral body talk. I was shown and told in an astral dream what to present in the following 2 slides. So just get an idea of how the unconscious mind works. This is how the unconscious mind works, right? Shown visually, told audibly, right? Nadis permeate all 3 bodies. Ida Pingala, Pingala, and Sushumna. The 3 bodies are all permeated, right, by the nadis. Ida Pingala, Sushumna. Panchakoshas, I talked about that in the talk briefly on the astral body, astral traveling live stream. Panchakoshas, concept, 5 sheaths. Annamaya, physical body. Food dependent, Muladhara chakra. Pranamaya, physical body. Bioplasmic energy, Swadhisthana and Manipura. Manomaya, astral body, subconscious mind. Anahata chakra. Vijnanamaya kosha, astral body, unconscious mind, psychic body, Vishuddhi and Agnya. Anandamaya kosha. The most important is where yoga is. Nowhere else but there you experience yoga. Anandamaya kosha, causal body, bliss, superconscious mind, Sahasrara. So this is another little diagram I put together, bit of a conceptual diagram here. Hope everyone can see it. So I've got the chakras up this side, Muladhara, Swadhisthana, Manipura, Anahat, Vishuddhi, Agnya, Sahasrara, and on this side I've got the lokas, the dimensions, Bhu, Bhuva, Swaha, Maha, Janaha, Tapaha, Satyam. And over here I've got the granthis, the psychic knots, which have to be loosened before the Kundalini can safely rise up further through Sushumna. So I've got Sushumna up through the middle there, right? 3 knots. Brahma, Granthi, it's a knot. It's loosened by loosening of the attachment or lessening of the attachment to instinctive and non-divine instincts and non-divine aspirations. So up further, Anahat, it's loosened by the knot, the Granthi, the knot. Vishnu Granthi, Anahat, heart, is loosened by giving up the attachments to emotions, Anahat. When Kundalini rises further in Agnya, we get to the Rudra Granthi, Rudra Shiva. How to go past Agnya, right? So it's one thing going up to Agnya, another thing going beyond the attachment to the psychic phenomena. So this is the hardest field to get through, the attachment to psychic phenomena, because the aspirant goes through many, and I spoke about many of them on that talk before on the astral body. The aspirant goes through many psychic experiences, right? So eventually you have to get rid of the attachment to the psychic phenomena. So here's the hint, the guru chakra. Guru manifests to go beyond in shunya, the void. The guru can help you. If you tune into a guru who's fully enlightened, awakened, and they manifest, they can take you beyond Agnya into Satyaloka, Sahasrara. Okay, so the chakras on one side, lokas on the other, going up to Satya Loka, Satyam. Lokas, 7 major lokas, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and below Mulda, maybe the less divine, not divine, below. Divine above, less divine below. Kundalini can go down there too. So that's why you've really got to keep to dedication and yogic lifestyle. Keep your Kundalini up, not down. Because we talk about malevolent, right? Down here, locus. Okay, renunciation. So Vairagya manifests, it really manifests after being shown a glimpse of the Satyaloka, non-duality. Satyaloka, up here, once you've had a glimpse of that non-duality, that Satchitananda, that's real Vairagya manifests in your life because you want to do everything possible to get back up there, right? And we talk about being satisfied in this dimension. Okay, what things bring us satisfaction? Right, well, it's insatiable. This dimension is insatiable, the desires, right? But when you're up here, you are satisfied, satiated. Satiated, is that the word? You're in bliss. That's every desire is fulfilled when you're absorbed in that bliss. And that is real non-duality. So it's not talked about non-duality. This is real non-duality. Okay? So when it gets up here, Kundalini gets up here, it's real non-duality, not intellectual. Many people talk about the intellectual non-duality, talking about it up here. So we're also talking about singularity. Oh, I mentioned that before when I was talking about Stephen Hawking, singularity. Here we are, Sushumna. So here we go, up here, Satyaloka. Okay, so I talked about renunciation, Vairagya, really manifests after you've been shown a glimpse or taken to Satyaloka. My guru is from Satyananda. I saw him a number of times and he's taken me into that dimension. So I can talk about this, I suppose, but even though you can't talk when you're in that experience, it's because it's beyond mind. Okay, but when you come back to this dimension or non-reality, that's the reality, this is non-reality. When you come back to this duality, you know about the non-duality experientially, not intellectually. Okay, so this is the vision that I had when I was, that morning when I was talking about, I talked about it in the astral body talk, and I saw a face, just the eyes, the nostrils, and 2 lines going up diagonally like this, crisscrossing, going to 3 bodies. 1, 2, 3, above. Okay, so I saw this. So this is the Ida, Nadi, left nostril, going over, and I've written here Manas Shakti, the mind Shakti, right? Manasarova, the mind, Manas Shakti. And on this side, Pingala, crossing over, Prana Shakti, Right, so over here, I've written here, this was what I saw, the physical body above, floating above physical body. So I can conceptually put it together in my mind. Physical body, Anamaya Kosha, Stula Sharira, the gross body. Okay, physical body. Ida, the mind, Shakti, going to the astral body. Astral body, Manomaya Kosha, that's the sheath that your awareness has to penetrate to get into the astral body. Manomaya Kosha, astral body. Sukshma Sharira or Linga Sharira. Okay? And then from the astral body, there's another body above, like a diamond light above. I should mention also psychic body sheath, Vijnanamaya, the psychic body, Vijnanamaya Kosha, the psychic body sheath. So I should mention above that was the causal body, the Karana Sharira, causal body, Karana Sharira, causal body, Ananda Maya, the bliss, Ananda Maya Kosha. So Ida Pingala and Sushumna. So you notice also through the middle, this line, I spoke about this line through the two nostrils. I saw in the dream a line, a diagonal line going from the left and right nostril. So that's the breath perfectly balanced. And then Sushumna rises through the three bodies. Okay? Three bodies, Sushumna. Okay? Only when there's perfect balance. So that's a safeguard. Okay? So now we go here further here. The jiva, the individual soul, which inhabits and animates these three bodies, at death departs with the astral and causal body, which contain the balance of your remaining karma. Stula Sharira, the physical body, the Linga or Sukshma Sharira, the astral body, Karana Sharira, the most subtle causal body. So I've got some quotes here by Swami Satchidananda. I'll read them. Kundalini does not belong to the physical body, though it has to be searched for there, nor in the mental body or even in the astral body. It is in the unconscious causal body, in that particular state of awareness where the concept of time, space, and object is completely lost. The seat of the unconscious in man is in the perineum, known in yogic terminology as Muladhara. It is a gland, it is a muscle, it is a body in which all the unconscious powers and initiatives of man are hidden. So there's the big hint from Swami Satchidananda, where the causal body is hidden in the physical body. That's where you have to go looking, Muladhara, awaken it, then Sushumna. Okay, quote Swami Shivananda, my Param Guru, Swami Shivanandaji. By pranayama and other yogic processes, the static Shakti is affected and becomes dynamic. When completely dynamic, when Kundalini unites with Shiva, the divine consciousness in the Sahasrara, the polarization of the body gives way. So that's a biological term for the scientists, because Swami Shivananda was a doctor before he renounced that. In the Sahasrara, the polarization of the body gives way. The two poles are united in one, and there is the state of consciousness called samadhi. Chakras, 1,000 petals, Sahasrara. So we've got the petals. The KRP will reveal more scientific correlations during the KRP experiment. So I've written some of this in my Kriya Yoga book. It looks like the KRP experiment will be a while off yet. KRP, what we're planning to do. I spoke about Dr. Dr. Karen Singh the other day, Mr. Gene Kiefer, Mr. George Tompkins. We spoke about George Tompkins the other day, Gene Kiefer on Facebook. What the KRP is going to do. What's the objectives? To conduct a thorough scientific research project on Kundalini awakening and to explore its positive impacts in physiological, biochemical, biophysical, genetic, psychological, and overall consciousness levels on the individual and the collective. And to find methodologies to deliver the beneficial outcomes of the research to mankind. Well, research proposal of the different areas. I'm talking about publishing my first book. This is back in 2014, so it's finished now. Okay, so this is some info I didn't have enough time to talk about in that before the Q&A section because I ran out of time. It was an hour. That talk. Kundalini is best, B-E-S-T. But I didn't use it. See, I've written don't use. Kundalini is B-E-S-T, best. We have to start our journey towards understanding Kundalini from our physical body as it is the most logical reference point whereby we can then commence to build our theoretical and experiential framework to understand it. Biological, okay? B for best. Biological. Kundalini is so mysterious and subtle that only a degree of awakening will allow an interested person to understand the phenomena. However, there are definitely biological, measurable changes that occur in an individual during the process of chakra and Kundalini awakening. Not only biological, but psychological changes can occur. They most definitely do, and do occur during the ascent or the movement of Kundalini. As this phenomena has never been properly scientifically studied before and is unique, we expect to deliver positive outcomes to humanity, which is currently not benefiting from the knowledge of Kundalini. Just excuse me for a second. I'm just going to open the window, get a bit of air. This is what I believe anyway. This is 10 years ago. Scientists are now ready to understand Kundalini. The proposed KRP will attract elite scientists who have evolved not only intellectually, but they themselves will be part of a great awakening. Evolutionary. According to yoga, the evolutionary energy is Kundalini Shakti. Its awakening is a very significant event. The awakening of Kundalini is the awakening of your dormant potential. The silent areas of your brain are brought into operation by a higher evolutionary process. Spiritual experience, the psychic and ultimately spiritual experience of Kundalini provide the real meaning to life. Before this happens, it is best to prepare yourself. Prepare. So, really, prepare. Prepare yourself for the most exciting journey ever. which is a true journey in self-discovery, transformative. Transformation happens as the mind and body are slowly or rapidly, but this is not advisable, overhauled. So you want an overhaul? Kundalini. Kundalini. Transformation happens as the mind and body are slowly overhauled by a spiritual force. The metamorphosis occurs as you discover your inherent truth that you are. Ardnarishwar inspires deep thinking. So you know the half male, half female Shiva, dancing Shiva. Symbolizes a lot for the KRP and is on our homepage, or it was. Added to the book, which I've done. Half man, Shiva, half woman, Parvati, with its foot firmly on the Mother Earth, holding the staff of wisdom, or the Trishul, the three-pronged trident, Ida, Pingala, and Sushumna nadis, and garlanded around is the serpent, symbolizing the Kundalini Shakti. Remember we talked in the astral body talk, Mahakala, concept of time. The illumination visible surrounding the crown of the head is the fully awakened Kundalini Shakti in Sahasrara. There are certain scientific facts behind this half male, half female form of Shiva. Science says that every human possesses 46 chromosomes. The child is born with 23 female chromosomes combined with 23 female chromosomes. This scientific fact, however, was elaborated by ancient Vedic scriptures thousands of years back. Vedic scriptures also say that man possesses half characteristics of female. So I'm just going to grab something. I'll be back in 1 second. Just look at that for a second. So we're talking about nature here. That's why Lord Shiva is portrayed half male, half female form. You could say from this mix that we are born to work out our karma either as a male or a female at the final moment. Right? So at the final moment it's decided male or female. We should honor, therefore, both males and females equally. Equal. This equality is not really seen in this light, as many women and females struggle for equality and recognition in many societies. When you consider that females are more psychically and spiritually gifted than males, it is this ancient concept of Ardnarishwar that should be looked at more carefully when choosing leaders in society. So they're more gifted than males, so they're probably more capable. Males seem to cause a few problems. It should be balanced 50-50. Okay, so that's all I wanted to talk about there. So we've talked about this diagram. This is really pretty amazing. When I had this vision, it was amazing. The three bodies up above me and these lines that were connecting everything. I was just being shown. So I'm just so amazed by the unconscious mind and Kundalini, how it can show you this information. Like I said this morning, it showed me where this picture was in my filing cabinet. So that's beyond me. That just blows me out. So I didn't want to talk much about it. I've just talked about this diagram. So I'll take that back off share. But if anyone brings this up in a video, you might be able to get that picture and have a good look at it. Take it off share. Now this is something else. Now this is actually in the webinar 10 years ago. This is not from my notes. This is actually from the webinar, the real webinar notes. I read you this bit up here that I presented in the webinar. Beyond Ida, Pingala and Sushumna. When the breath is flowing in the right nostril, Pingala Nadi is active. This is called Prana Shakti. Prana Shakti is connected intimately with the gross physical body, also known as the Stula Sharira and the Annamaya Kosha, the food-dependent body. And the more subtle than the Annamaya Kosha, the Pranamaya Kosha, kosha means sheath, the bioenergy filled sheath. When the breath is flowing in the left nostril, Ida Nadi is active and it is called Manas Shakti. So remember I was talking about Manas Shakti, Prana Shakti in that diagram, crisscrossing up into the bodies. Have a look at that other body, the diagram. Manas Shakti, Prana Shakti. Okay, Manas Shakti is intimately connected with the astral, subtle astral body known as the Linga Sharira or the Sukshma Sharira, the Manomaya Kosha, and the Vijnanamaya Kosha. So this is what I'm telling you. I saw that diagram picture in my mind and also got a download of what I've written here. So whatever I've written there, I've downloaded through that experience. So I'm talking about unconscious mind, how it works. So yeah, I saw all that and I've read through all that. Okay, here's a little bit more beyond Pingala, Ida and Pingala. So that's Ida Pingala Sushumna 1 up there, Ida Pingala Sushumna 2. So this is another part, another slide from that webinar. When the breath is flowing in both nostrils with a perfectly equal, this is why we do pranayama, Nadi Shodhan, perfect that. Perfectly equal, or Kriya Yoga, or Swara Yoga, with a perfectly equal, or Hatha Yoga, right? All those sadhanas deal with prana. For an extended period of time, it is said 15 to 30 days. So in that book, Kundalini Tantra, 1984 publication, Swamiji said 15 to 30 days. It is a prior indication that you should prepare for the awakening of Sushumna Nadi and Kundalini Shakti. So yeah, you've really got to prepare. So when this starts happening, when you're going through the stages of awakening, you're working from balancing and purification of the nadis, bringing them into operation. Ida Pingala, chakra awakening. Next stage, Sushumna. You've got to start preparing. And what do you do? What do you do? It's pretty hard to do at home. Head for an ashram where there's like-minded people, right? You might be able to get what you think you deserve, like a bit of quiet seclusion or something like that, but you might find a guru or be able to immerse yourself in the karma yoga, because karma yoga is very important with, well, that yogic lifestyle that I talked about before. When you're going through an awakening, I know it myself. So ashram is best place. So I think I've covered nearly everything. Let's have a quick look. Yeah, so this is what I wanted to talk about. 51 minutes. So that's nearly 2 hours with those two talks. So I'll have another glass of water, and I wish I was in India to see the Ram Mandir inauguration. What a fantastic thing after such a struggle. It's really fantastic. And like I said before, it's Rama, and this DVD series, it's on YouTube. You got to watch that. It is awesome. This is in Hindi, but there's also the YouTube videos in English. I mean, I just absolutely love it. I watched it so much. I got these in 2013 in Hindi. Couldn't understand a word basically, but I can just relate to everything there. And I've got a pretty good translator who helps me out, and brings up a lot of emotions for me. I don't know why, how, but the struggle, the whole story of Rama, and Swami Satchidananda, my guru. His Ishta Devata was Sri Ram. And when I went to Rikya to see him in 1995, I actually purchased an alarm clock, which the alarm clock, when the alarm went off, it played Sri Ram, Jaya Jaya Ram, Ragapati Ram. It's fantastic. And somehow I lost that alarm clock. It's the best ever. If you can ever find one, Sri Ram is fantastic. Okay, have a good day, everybody, and Om Sri Ram. Pranam.